Well, well, well.
Hello.
Long time no see.
Great. Did you read what I wrote?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. I'll try it out tonight.
All right, if it's too much, don't worry about it. That's serious. I'm not all that worried about timestamps and shit like that.
Yeah, I just figured after you said that and people said they wanted it, I was like, how hard could it be if I gave it a shot? It might be. It sucks tonight is that I'm trying it when I have Nelly, so it actually will be difficult, but.
Again, don't worry about it. It's one of those that like it's kind of the last of the priorities.
Yeah.
So, it's not my concern. But
that's fair.
For those that are tuning into the podcast, first and foremost, welcome to the crossover podcast, episode 180. To give you some background, whenever Paul and I say that long time no see, last night after game 4, I got kicked out of the living room, all right, because Emily wanted to be able to watch her shit. So I came into my office here, and I casually see that Paul and a bunch of other people are chilling in the lounge chat right as the game is starting. And it was one of the most depressing voice calls I think I've ever been a part of. Ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Healy summoned us all, and I came in, and I mean, it was supposed to be a game 5, let's watch along and see how things go, and let's get amped and excited. And literally from minute 1, they were getting just creamed, taken to the cleaners, not even close, like, it wasn't good.
No.
It just wasn't good.
No, I left the call halfway through. I started prepping the TikTok, which I got out like literally 45 seconds after the game was done. And then
Yep.
started working on the YouTube video because I was like, well, I don't need to stick around to the end of this to know exactly how this is going to go. I'm just going to finish it out.
Yeah.
Fucking do
I
everything
mean, there
else I got to
wasn't
do.
much to say. Like, they came close. I would say BLG wasn't like playing crazy good. I think that's why it hurt the worst.
Yeah.
That felt like the best opportunity of anything. And then at like the end, after a game 4 where you respond, where you would think they would have tilted out of their mind and fallen apart, what they come back, they do some crazy work. Inspired looks like the best player in the West, like hands down, bar none. I'm like sitting there DMing you like, bro, he really is like this guy's crazy. And then game 5, they just like
Yep.
every last one of them sprints it. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad.
I saw people blaming Inspired. I can't say I blame Inspired all that much on that one, personally. Like,
Yeah,
his,
not
his
really.
mid lane died. His bot lane got their summoners blown and were pushed in. Of course, your jungle's going to get rocked. Like,
Yep.
what are you going to do? So, I don't blame him for that. I do blame jungle, or I do blame the one death that he had where he was, like, overextended in their jungle. That was a little bad. But, the game was lost by that point, in my opinion. It was done and dusted. But
Yeah, it was just tough.
my question to you is,
Yeah,
what like initial reaction? All right, we're officially out. There's still a tournament left to play, but we're gone. What are your thoughts on the tournament as a whole for NA?
I would say overall, the things that you would want NA to do were accomplished. So they went and they beat EU. They didn't look like they sucked. And those were the two things you really wanted as a LTA North fan. I really wanted to see just Flyquest go in there and look competitive. And I would say they looked competitive. Unfortunately, they couldn't break through like the wall for them, but it was way better than first stand. And that's really what I wanted to see was us recover from first stand. Looked like we did.
I agree with that. I listened to our friends over at the LTA report earlier. I was listening to Marn and Cloud, and I was, for those that are wondering, because Paul's not going to be on camera tonight, he's with Nelly, the names are going to be swapped because the camera normally like kicks me over to the other side. So yes, I am Paul for today.
Yeah,
But,
sorry about that.
dude, don't apologize.
Baby time.
So here's my thing. I don't get where this sentiment of NA, like, this is beyond frustrating, that roster changes need to happen. Like, I get being sad that we lost. I don't get the frustration. That part I don't understand. We did exactly in this tournament what you want us to do. We took care of the business that we needed to, and we were so close to taking a series off of BLG, which I know what people are going to say, all right? Because the counter response to that every time is, well, it's still the same result. It's still the same this. To which I would say, let me take you all on a longer analogy real quick. I know not many people play golf, okay? But it's a very important sport to understand the skill curve of. Because say you're trying to go from shooting 100 average to breaking 90 for the first time ever, all right? The first time that you get close to breaking 90, 90% of the time it's a fluke. You have a really good day, a really, really good day, and everything is just clicking. It's great. You get close, you shoot 90 on the dot. You miss that putter. You're one stroke off, and you're kicking yourself, and you're like, fuck, man, I was that close, could have had it. But the reality is you're not actually that close, right? You're a little bit further away. Your average is actually like a 95, 96. And if you want to break 90, you need to be doing it consistently, right? You need to get that first one, but in order to getting that first one is not everything. So you have to work on things and improve and get better, and eventually you'll get another crack at it. And guess what? You're probably going to fail again. Right? You're probably not going to break 90 that second time. Or the third. maybe not even the fourth. But eventually, if you keep improving and keep giving yourself enough chances at it, you will. And you will get better individually. And eventually, you'll get that first one. And then it's going to be really fucking depressing when you get that first one and you don't do it again for a while. But then, as you keep getting better and you keep improving your fundamentals underneath that, you will eventually start breaking 90 consistently. And then the next task begins of trying to break 80, and you keep climbing. For NA, we had years of not being close at all to the East. From 2019 Worlds on, we never stood a fucking chance. We couldn't even take games off of them. We were getting bitch slapped 3-0 every time. And while I get it's upsetting that we lost in a series that we probably should have won, the fact that we are now consistently, at least with Flyquest, getting close means everything. It means that we are improving at a baseline, that we are giving ourselves more opportunities to do this. And eventually, if you believe that we will continue to improve and continue to grow on these things that we are learning, we will get over that curve and get over that hump.
Yep.
It might take a few more times. We might still fuck up at Worlds this year. But if we keep looking like this and keep improving, we will get there. Like this, you should walk away from this tournament very optimistic, in my opinion. I don't see any world where you should walk away seeing this as an entire negative, other than kicking yourself because we lost the series. That I get.
Yeah, I think overall, oh, come on, Mel. The big thing about this tournament was we saw like a consistent step up again, and the fact that we're not, because I mean there was a dark spell for NA for a little bit at internationals. Like it wasn't even fun to watch them as a NA fan. So there was a minute where like the days of C9, you know, kind of bailing us out, or CLG and TL having those big moments were long gone, and it felt like we were cooked. But even EU started to kind of get beat down a bit, and this has kind of mellowed it back out, and I would say at least made the tournaments fun. Yeah. I would still say like the unfortunate thing about double elim is it's going to make it incredibly difficult for a Western team to win, and that you're just going to have to adjust your expectations to that if you're somebody who thinks like the West should be winning or is going to come close sometime soon. I think that'll take a while.
Yeah.
Just to get through, because now you kind of, in a way, have to get through up to at least 3 Eastern teams, unless somehow the bracket works out incredibly well for you, or a Western team actually does really well. But unless you run into each other and region kill, you have to essentially get through 3 Easterns, which is very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I will say is, like, MSI is a tough tournament, right? And it also sucks that we only had Flyquest there, so we can't really gauge our region as a whole. We're only gauging Flyquest rather than, like, C9 and Flyquest. And EWC, unfortunately, is also not going to be that tournament that we can really gauge it on because it's best of ones and, like, 1 best of 3. So it's not really great for it. But if you're looking at this tournament and you're trying to say, like, okay, like, now that both teams from the West, or all teams from the West, are out, how are we going to, like, what should expectations be at Worlds? I think the expectation is you get an NA team out of Swiss, beating an Eastern team in terms of the 3 to 4 seeds.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. If we're taking a game off of AL and looking decent in that series, if we nearly are beating the number 2 seed out of the LPL, all we have to do is beat their 3 and 4. Like, that to me is like, we're going from the blue tees to the fucking white tees and golf here. All right? Keep playing your game. Keep doing your thing, and we're fucking fine. Like, we're good.
Yeah.
Especially if C9 is anywhere close to this level. If C9's anywhere close to this level, oh man, like we could have some fun. And TL, I expect a rebound, especially with Yuji coming in and that roster stabilizing from the collapse that we saw at first stand. Like,
yep.
Shit, I'm fine. Hell yeah.
And low key, we not like C9 low key, but low key we need to keep pressing Riot on the idea. Well, not even low key, we need to be high key about this and loud. We need to keep pressing them that we deserve 2 teams again, and not taking away a team
Yep.
from EU or Brazil, giving us 2 teams again.
Just get you gotta
Like-
give NA and Brazil a team. Here's my logic.
Yeah, or give NA 1 or NA 2, Brazil 1, and give CFO's region 2.
Yeah.
Like, they've played well. Give them 2 as well.
I mean, well, CFO has to.
Oh yeah, because GAM goes. I
GAM's
keep
there.
forgetting that they're. That's a good point. I keep forgetting everyone's being merged infinitely.
Yeah. And the thing I would say about that, because I mean, I made a TikTok on it, but I've seen a lot of people being like, oh, they're the 3rd best region in the world. No, they're fucking not.
Mhm.
All right. No, they ain't.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Also, my logic to Riot would be this. If you are going to separate out the power rankings between the LTA North and LTA South, you better keep us separate for everything. Don't you dare fucking combine us. All right. That's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. How are you going to keep separate power rankings?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to tell you. Love your channel. Also, why you got to spoil results. Bro, it's been nearly 24 hours. Like, at what point do we draw the line here? Like, I didn't spoil it on my video last night. I didn't spoil it on the short form content. I waited until 7 o'clock the day after to talk about it. I waited long enough.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. You what else do you want me to do?
Tis what it is type of thing. You gotta stay off the internet.
Yeah. And by all means, I'm trying to be as respectful as I can. I do not spoil shit for the first 16, 17 hours. But at some point, we got to talk about the next part of the tournament and everything else that comes with it. This shit happens on a 24-hour basis. You got to keep going. Hell, fucking Colin Cowher, whenever I based my thumbnail off of his, he spoils everything within 5 minutes of it. Immediately after the series.
Yeah. Pro sports, you're dropping content right away. You better shut down your phone if you don't want to be spoiled.
Yep. But go ahead and say what you're going to say. I cut you off.
Oh, I was just saying the big thing about the regions being separate too in their head, or the same of LTA, in Riot's mind being like, oh, they're the same region and all this jazz. It's like, okay, if we really are though, like, why is Brazil and NA not competing?
Yeah.
For those 2 seats? Why are they separate? Like, if you think that it's totally fine that we're one region or one entity, then shouldn't we just it should be 2 LTA slots, not 2 separate slots for the conferences inside of that. That's so convoluted to me.
It's so dumb.
It's insane.
Really is. And I hope next year it changes. I hope we get the LCS and CB back. But I think we will keep saying that every week for those that are like, oh, they keep saying it. We're going to keep saying it until it happens. That's how you get shit done. All right. But I won't drown on too much about it. I just wanted to make sure we said our piece and was like, C9 should have been in this tournament. C9 should have knocked G2 out in the play-in stage. That's all I'm saying.
It would have been awesome to have C9 in that tournament. I mean, even if it doesn't go well and C9 loses, I don't care. Like, it would have been great to have them there. Like, from a fan perspective and from a viewership perspective, like, they are a team that brings views.
Yeah.
And this is finally a primetime one for us. Like, why would you not do that?
Yep. I will say viewership has been great so far.
Yeah, it has.
It's been fantastic.
Well, internationals have just been, they cook.
Every time.
For whatever reason.
And this internationals felt close. It's felt like every series barring G2, Flyquest, and even then I think the games were a little bit closer because it was a little bit messier there. Every single series has felt like it's close. Which is wild.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird tourney because we're getting the stock standard results that we almost always get. Like, it's a 4 Asian, like, all the Asian teams are in the semis.
Yep.
As usual, but it doesn't feel bad.
No.
It's very strange. It doesn't feel awful. I will say, like, BLG was low-key sprinting it in some of those instances against Flyquest.
I think we can just limit that to On and Beishuan. if we're being honest.
Yeah, they were like helping us get back in games. Like there was a moment where people were saying like, "Man, Flyquest can really take this to BLG. Like they're just as good." And I was sitting there like, "Bro, the laning phases were going a little tough. Like we were getting some help. Like let's be real. Like there are things we can do. Yes, like Masu picks it up and Quad plays better in lane, but Knight and Elk were taking a clinic on our dudes in lane, it felt like. Now, Buppo's having some good lanes, but he was getting a lot of help. But he was having good lanes, and I think that's good. But I was not sitting at the end of it going like, man, Masu and Quad really impressed me
Yeah.
by the end of it.
I
And I don't
think
mean that to like slight them or ruin the mood of it. I
no,
think
and
it was a great
but
tournament
it's a
for
fair
us.
discussion to have because I've seen people talking about fucking roster changes, which I think is
That's
mind-blowingly dumb.
crazy.
Which
Yeah,
is I can't
that's crazy.
when those words started coming out of people's mouths, I was like, "Are you fucking dumb?" Like
Yeah,
are
that's
like
insane.
they're competing at this level, and you're thinking in my head, let's blow this shit up. Let's cook it again. And it's like, what the fuck are
Yeah.
we talking about? Like, at some point, people will have to come to terms with the fact of like, oh, BLG underperformed and Flyquest nearly won. Okay. Oh, GenG underperformed. Flyquest nearly won. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, at some point, we can admit that GenG's, or not GenG, that Flyquest is also playing better and capitalizing on some of these mistakes and straight up winning games themselves. Let's not act like games 1 and 4 were off the mistakes of BLG. Like they straight up out in game 1 and 4 of that series, they straight up outplayed BLG. Start to finish, outplayed. They even had minor throws in that game 1 where they caught themselves from like really letting it fall off a fucking cliff. But they played well.
Yeah. And
So,
like why would you even consider doing roster change? That sounds insane. I haven't seen anybody say that, so that's the first time I've heard that. That's nuts. But
yeah.
I don't know how you look at that and don't go like, man, FlyQuest is getting close. Like in my
Yeah.
head, I'm like, they're getting very close. And I know, like, I just said how they do get some help, but they're also like genuinely they look like one of the best team fighting teams out there. Like they seem insanely good at team fighting. I don't know what it is, but in late game situations, they apply pressure to you that just makes it impossible for you to stay on schedule in your own way. And they just throw you for a loop. They pick you in certain places they're willing to go in, and they catch a lot of people. They do the Fnatic Death Bush thing, and they'll just do it for a while, like
Yep.
way longer than you would think they would. If they can get the laning just slightly better, which I mean they'll keep working on that, and maybe Blippo doesn't, Blippo and Quad pulling out the Urgot, uh, what was it, Zillion at the end there. Let's not
Yeah.
do that again,
I
and we
agree.
can cook.
The other thing I would
We
add
can
to that
cook.
is like you are technically getting a roster change in summer with this.
Yeah,
Gakos is
with the
coming
one
in.
kid.
Yeah. Like you're gonna have a 6-man there, which I don't know how that's gonna mess with the dynamic of things. I don't think he's gonna play all that much. But having him for game 5 to be able to put in so you don't have to play the fucking Urgot and you can actually threaten the Rumble might not be a bad thing. It
Yeah,
might not be.
and he's a young blood. He's good, from what we understand. So, like, it should be fun to watch him, and he has a great supporting cast around him.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even hate on that supporting
No.
cast. But
Well, I
I
mean,
would,
people are. I will say, people are going at Masu and Quad. Quad, I understand a little bit more personally for this tournament because I think he had a down tournament as a whole. He got gapped pretty hard.
yeah,
But one tournament is not enough for me to sit here and be like, "Yep, time to wrap it up." Like, no, you give him time, absolutely. And then Masu, I think Masu even had stretches during this series where he played well. Yes, he had bad moments, absolutely. And overall, I'm not gonna sit here and say like he had the best tournament. But let's also not forget in the Gen G series, he was on point against Ruler. So like, I don't
yeah,
understand like. I do understand to a certain extent because we are very reactionary as North America as a whole. But like,
Yep.
you give these guys more time. If at Worlds it doesn't work out and there's common reoccurring issues, then maybe you have that conversation. But right now, holy fuck, like what are we doing? And like even then, like I personally have faith that these guys can continue to develop and grow. Like we've seen individual moments from all of them that you just like you need them to continue to get better and grow and click. And like there's this, I feel like there's this default assumption from so many people in the league community where it's like, oh, somebody has a bad tournament, they're just trash, and that's it. Time to drop them and move on. It's like that's not how that works. Like Mickey X has had a ton of tournaments where he played like shit and then comes back and plays like the best fucking support in the world. Like you just have to give people the chance. Now, if they continuously have problems over a long period of time, sure. But where have the continuous problems been for these guys? And more importantly, can anybody name me a fucking replacement? Because nobody can. Like,
Yeah, somebody said it when Smash is a free agent, but that's, I mean,
good. I think
I don't
everybody's
even
going to
know
be if I think LCK is going to be vying for that. There's no way that he comes to North America.
yeah, and I'd be shocked too if Smash really
Pays.
like. I think you could keep Masu, and if Smash is brought over here, in your head you're just going, okay, Smash just levels up Masu's ability, if anything. Like dropping Masu seems silly because we already know, like typically when you bring over a Korean ADC, they're gonna, be a rental and go back. So you might as well just let him get better and keep him.
Yeah.
And Masu's not very old. I mean,
no, he's 2 years into his playing career. He's not even 2 years. He's a year and a half in. That's
Khan made a good point. He lost to Elk and Ruler, who are vets. For being real, like
Carzzy, Noah, Crown Shot, upset. Fuck no, I'm not trading Masu for any of them. What the fuck are we talking about? No. What? That's the list of names we got here? No, fuck that. I take Masu over all of them. Watch Flyquest put all of them in a fucking body bag now. Like, we're talking about Masu, as you said, losing to fucking Elk, Ruler, and everything else. I'm delusional. Look at where EU's at right now. I'm fucking sorry. No, like,
Carzzy's a crazy pick.
I'm sorry.
And Crowny. Where do you watch LS? You have to watch LS to pick Crown Shot. I mean, I hate to say it.
Like,
but
it's
not like, well, okay, let's be real here for a second. I'm going to say this. This is an important distinction, is saying all those dudes are better than Masu is crazy when a 16-year-old had to be held back, comes in and they go, oh, he's not going to be that good here, and literally has been just curb stomping people on repeat.
Yep.
In that league. Like, he's 17. So he's a very old man. And Callista's just in there, like, actually whooping on people.
Yep.
Whether people want to say that's true or not, like, go watch the games. That man Callista's not the problem on K-Core. And he's chilling, bro.
Yeah. And Masu played incredible. Like, up until this series and this event. Let's not act like Masu hasn't been, like, hands down the best ADC in terms of raw mechanics.
Regular season, and then in playoffs he turned it right back up.
Yeah.
So,
like, Sven was on another level this year. Like, an entire other level. And in finals, Masu stepped up massively. Like, the entirety of playoffs, Masu stepped up back to where he was at the end of last year. Like, I don't see how, like, in no world am I changing out anything on this Flyquest roster unless, like, somebody wants to go elsewhere once they're a free agent because they want the money. But, like, otherwise, if they all want to win, you don't change this team at all.
No. Unless Blippo retires.
And then you got Gakkos already. But even that, like, you're not signing anybody. Like, you've got your young guy.
That's true. You've already done the change, really.
And Inspired's only, what, 23?
Yeah, he's not very old either.
Like, Faker's fucking 30. All right? Think about that. Like, we got until 2032 with Inspired, realistically, until you sit here and be
Inspired's
like...
also playing, like, in his prime.
Oh.
Like, that game was crazy. that Trundle game. He legitimately just solo like carried a game.
That and the Sejuani game. Both of them. Like he's just like the deathless Sejuani that is just single-handedly starting fights and ending fights was just nuts. Was nuts. It was so fun to
Yeah.
watch. And like I'd be shocked if somebody tried to tell me that Caps needs to be involved in the conversation for best Western player right now. There's no fucking chance. It is nobody
Yeah, not
but
anymore.
inspired.
Yeah, I thought that last week, and not anymore. Not anymore at all. I even texted you. I was like, nah, bro, this kid's the truth. Like, watching him in this tourney, he's really stepping up. And he was. He did some crazy thing. I mean, there was a moment where it looked like he was just like telling them, bro, just please don't die.
Yep.
And I'll get you there. Like, you just gotta trust me. And they were doing everything in their power to run it. And honestly, it became like this moment where it was Knight versus Inspired. And I was like, genuinely, we're just gonna see which one of these two can win it.
Yep.
While the rest are just sprinting it. Because Knight started like just finding people to solo kill on the Tristana. And he was like, I have to try to win this game. And Inspired was like, no, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make it impossible, brother. I've figured it out.
Oh god. I love it.
Blabber Flag and Drag gave us this moment. True.
Oh, it's not wrong. That's the worst part.
That's so
It's
true.
like Blabber literally hand gifted this straight
Yeah.
into the conversation.
Yeah, he
Damn.
did. I mean, that's so tough too. Like Blabber's just been getting beat on this year by fans in general. People aren't sure about him anymore. And then, like, he does the ultimate thing that sends his pretty much only other equal or superior to this, and that guy just shows out.
Yep.
Like, that's gotta be so tough.
It
So
does
tough.
not help his narrative at all either.
And isn't Blabber Canadian?
Yeah. Or no,
Yeah,
Blabber's
that's rough.
no. I think Blabber's US.
Is he American?
Yeah, he's from Maryland.
Oh, okay,
As
never
always.
mind then.
Yeah.
It's a Vulcan that's Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew one of them was Canadian.
I made the mistake the other day in a video saying that Busio is Canadian when he's fucking American because I was talking about Busio and Masu, and I mixed the two up, and I was like, "Fuck, can't correct that now."
Who
God damn it!
cares? I mean, who really cares? It's America. We just buy whatever we can.
Oh, I was told in the replies that it.
Yeah, I saw your one video where you also had to fight people who were like, Masu isn't technically American, or he's not a non-import. And I was like, okay, bro, come on.
Yeah, I was like, bro,
it's not how that works here, bro.
oy vey.
This is how we do things. If you don't like the way we do that, you're gonna really hate how we do basketball. Because we do whatever we can in basketball. We'll go, brother. We will find the hidden tribe in Africa if we have to. If he's 7 foot and he can shoot, we go, yeah, that works. That's fine with us. They'll be
Yep.
like, they're uncontacted and they'll kill you all. And Adam Silver goes, that's fine. And he just shows up with a bag of money and goes, you've been contacted. Here's your new thing.
Chad asked, "Why are Canadians good at League?" Because for 9 months out of the year, they can't step outside.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's obvious, no?
Yeah. Like, again, it's always the argument. Like, if we moved the LCS to Gary, Indiana, I bet you we would all of a sudden get really fucking good at League of Legends.
Yeah, that is the best video ever. You're right next to Chicago, but it's like the annoying part of Chicago where it sucks to drive that far. You know you'll be in traffic for a while. You can't go and do anything in Gary, Indiana, because you gotta live. Like, nobody's trying to get shot, so there's just nothing you can do. Yeah, you're gonna yell at me. You dropped your passive, though. It's your fault.
Did I loved the Tabe interview with Kadril, where he's like,
Dude,
we
so
scrim,
funny.
and then we go. If you are mental boom, we go outside and you take a walk. I remind you for 2 minutes that you're human, and you go back in and you scrim again. And I'm like, We ain't got that kind of work ethic over here. Now, granted, I think that it's
No.
unhealthy to a certain extent. I think eventually somebody can figure it out to the point where like the hands are good enough that you don't need that obnoxious amount of hours. But
Yep.
until that point
No,
comes,
that video though was actually crazy. Like him saying, I get they work hard in in their gaming culture, but that blew my mind to just be like, no, bro, we literally just play all day. Like grass is for the weak. We're in here grinding League of Legends, and that's what we've done to win. And to be like, it's working, and to also just do that and not burn out is what just makes me so shocked. Because BLG does a variation of that, and they've been like at all of these tournaments.
yep.
I mean, T1, 2, and GenG, they're all doing that, and it's just like, how? How are you all still here? This doesn't make sense.
Dude, it's just different culture, different culture. And that's what when I saw European fans be like, we need to copy their hours. I was like, no, the fuck you don't. All right,
No.
we got completely different standards of life. If you think that you're gonna copy their shit, you're out of your mind. Maybe for a tournament, all right? Maybe like for MSI or for Worlds, like for that 1 month you do it. But you cannot, as a Western League player or League fan, grind like they do, or you will want to off yourself. Like, I promise you, we are not built like that. So don't try and force
No.
yourself to be like that.
Yep. And you don't have to do that to win it, to be honest. You can efficiency up some things grinding you have to do during tourneys, but you can be selective with the time that you turn up like that and put in those hours. Like around now is when you would put in those hours. But I don't think if you're doing that all year, it's necessarily the end all be all, because you really just got to be better than your region.
Yeah.
And then about a month out of a tournament, start to really gear up.
Yep.
And along with patch changes, I mean, the league, throwing yourself at the wall for infinite amount of time when there's so many changes that occur is kind of wild.
Yeah. I'd be curious because I know the argument. It's tough whenever we're arguing this from like a Western fan perspective. Okay, it's not like we've won anything to be able to validate our thoughts and opinions on this, but
Yeah.
a lot of our prep, like coming into these tournaments, is trying to play catch up when we get there. It makes you wonder if there was a Super League and we were all playing each other like that, and there wasn't this like week or 2 week long delay where we're just trying to not get our ass beat. I like say that's like the full year, but we just don't. We play less than they do. We don't play 24 hours a day. You still play a lot, obviously. Most pros naturally do. But like, if you're also in their environment, would we be able to do it without having to do their hours? I would think yes.
Yeah. No, yes. I definitely think it's possible because you don't there's not really jobs out there that I'm thinking like you actually gotta put 14 hours a day. I guess in most sports, do most pro teams do that? I don't really know.
No, well, I mean, in pro sports, it's different because like your body can't
Between the
take that.
physical and mental, yeah.
Yeah,
How much are you doing?
and like even then,
I
like
know they grind film all day.
they do, but like even then, like it's not like it's tapered. There are certain times where you do it a lot and certain times where you don't. It's not this Asian mentality of 24/7 on the entire time all the time. Like there's
Yeah.
times where it's more strenuous than others. You try and taper people, you try and do like it's not the same. Period. It's just not the same.
Yeah, and it works in other sports. It's got to be able to work here. I mean, the only thing is, I will say people are going to be like, no, it would never work to beat them. But I would say a bigger issue of why we don't beat them than just our work ethic is always going to be player base
Yeah.
for
Oh,
us
100%.
in the US. I mean, EU did beat them at one point, and their player base was as big, if not bigger, and they just put together a super team and they did it. And they made multiple Worlds finals, like doing that. I'm not going to sit here and be like, blah, blah, blah. but I know their player base is still just as big, and now they're losing. So maybe our work
I,
ethic is like yeah,
that's all I'm saying is like they sit here and claim like, would I
yeah,
rather be in their situation with their player base? Yeah, absolutely. How are you letting us beat your ass with just a few of your players? All right,
yeah,
consistently. Like how are we really like that far ahead? Whenever we have
yeah,
what 4 million less people playing the game,
yep.
and y'all somehow
It's
can't figure out how to make it work. Now, again, I want to reiterate before EU fans get too salty here because I know EU fans are down in the dumps. Reddit has been phenomenal for the last few weeks. I would still rather be in EU's shoes than ours by a wide margin,
yeah.
regardless of the results.
No, that's yeah. I mean, with their viewership and their player base,
Yeah. That's
I would.
everybody was on fire. They're like, "What do we do? What do we do?" As like you keep going, like your fan bases are building. The money on like certain teams is starting to come in. Like you're selling out stadiums without Riot even needing to touch the event. You might not have the international results, but you got the fundamentals fine of building an
Yeah,
esport. The results will come once you fix your GMing bullshit. But everything else around it, congrats. If you think that we wouldn't want to be there, you're fucking crazy. You're out of your mind.
yeah. Just give your guys some time. I mean, you have some young teams out there.
Yeah.
KC isn't like a bunch of old boys. You're not at the end of your life cycle, and it is a weird, kind of funny argument, I guess you could make, because forever we've said like, oh, you can go through so many players. That's so nice. I wish we could do that. But now it's like the bane of their existence that they've just recycled so many players. They just don't have any vets around anymore that can really cook. And we have a bunch of vets now that are like doing good things. If we're being real, like on C9, it looks pretty good. The vets they're running. We don't know how to look internationally
Yep.
yet. I assume we'll see it at some point this year. Uh, on Flyquest, our vets are looking good. I mean, if not great. I mean, I'm gonna call Inspired a vet because he's just been around forever. And it's for EU, they're kind of like, well, we sent caps, and Broken Blade is just falling apart by the seams, and Han Sama just seems to not do anything. So they've just recycled everybody, and the guys they have left who have somehow survived at the top just fell apart at a bad time. And that's where they got caught. I mean, they did just make a first stand finals, which I know people are going to say first stand doesn't matter or blah, blah, blah. But it's like you did just have a team do well.
Yeah.
Like being this mad or like we never do well is like kind of insane when yes, it was kind of preseason-y, it wasn't a real tournament, I would say, in the sense that MSI and Worlds are. There wasn't the same weight to it, but you did just have KC do well,
Yep.
so you can chill out a little bit.
Yep. I have one other question for you on that before we go into T1 GenG real quick. I already know how chat's gonna react to this because I know the names in chat. You were a little bit weary on Fearless Draft before. How are you feeling now? Like pretty much fully into the tournament on it.
Yeah, I would say definitely. I don't know how to word it because I don't want to say weary, but I am starting to lose my faith in this. Maybe I am. It's just watching it, you can tell the game fives get really sloppy, or the game fours. Now this one wasn't sloppy; it was just somebody curb stomping another team. But I would say the champions had a bit to play in that, or the champions picked had a bit to play in it. It looks like by the time you get to game five, the quality gets worse.
Yeah.
Now I think that's okay, and it's gonna take a couple years for players to get used to this because you are gonna have to add a lot of champs to the pool. I mean, because people can say all you have to do is be good at 6 champs. That's not true. You need to be good at 10 champs, right? Because by the time you get to the end of, or a best of 5, you would have to have, theoretically, you and the other guy are going to split 10 champions by the end of that game 5. And there's also bans coming in. So let's say they want to ban you out. Well, then now you're the guy who has to have 13 champs possibly
I
in
mean,
there. And then they first pick.
assuming all five,
Yeah.
I'd say 15.
Yeah. Because they could try to fully ban you out. You don't pick early, you get screwed. And then second rotation, they ban you again. And then all of a sudden, you're staring down the barrel of, yeah, like you said, 15 champs. They also like picked first, who knows? And you just don't have an answer. I mean, and that's what happened to Flyquest. It wasn't that severe of like a ton of champs were picked, but they did not have an answer, and they
No,
admitted it.
no, they were not ready for that game 5. I saw
No.
Jamada tweet out about it. He's always been a fearless hater. He wants like a different alternative to it, to which he was like, "Look at this game 5 quality. Like, look at this. This is what you get." And I'm just sitting there like, "This is what you get when a coach doesn't properly prepare for this moment." Like for me, like I guess the mentality shift is just like, I'm not comparing this to old school League of Legends in terms of the dynamics from game to game. I'm treating this as its own thing entirely. And I like it as an entertainment product because obviously it is so much fucking better to not have to watch the same champions. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if you want to see Faker on Azir or Ari all 5 games. I do not give a shit. I don't. Okay. And I'm just going to have that opinion. And clearly, the majority of LoL esports fans that vocalize their opinion on social media feel the same. Now, whether that's indicative of the majority or not, I don't know. But overall sentiment seems positive around it. Part of that comes with this new element of strategy, which is understanding how to utilize all 171 champions in this fucking game. We have 171 champs there for a reason. Like,
Yep.
use it. You cannot sit here and tell me, because I did the math earlier. By the time you get to your final 2 picks in that game 5, you still have 105 champions to work with. There's no fucking way you can't tell me there's some combination that you can't make work. There's no way.
Yeah.
And at that point, again, like the expectation on pro players has increased to the point where it's like, yeah, well, you know what? It was fine for a decade to be good on 3 fucking champions. All right? You can make an entire name and brand for yourself on that. But now it's changed and evolved. And I like that. Personally, I like seeing players have to play more than just a few fucking champions. It makes it cool when they get that signature pick, if they get it. But I like the diversity that comes with it. And for a game 5, it's just like, okay, fucking prepare better. You shouldn't be putting your mid laner, who's never played a game of Zillion on stage, to my knowledge, in his fucking life, and they haven't scrimmed it. Don't put that on him. Maybe ban out the Galio instead of the Nami. Maybe give him a disadvantageous matchup with the Sylas that he can at least do something with later. Maybe don't first time the fucking Zillion. Like,
yeah. And it is one of those things too where I'm sitting here thinking, why did we also do, was it a game 2 or game 3 Callista?
game 2.
Yeah, what are we doing? Like, the game is already hard enough. You're playing a Chinese team. Why are we going the champ that is actually 0-10 now? That's insane.
Until
that a champ
T1
is
gets a win
0-10.
on it today. That's going to be the best part about it.
If you know what's gonna happen though, how they're gonna win on it, it's gonna be Carrier.
Yeah.
He's gonna pick it, play it support, do the wackiest thing we've ever seen, absolutely pop off because that man is like the most psychopathically good support I've ever seen who can do whatever he wants. And he's why I always feel like I can justify playing stupid stuff with you bottom lane.
Yep.
Because I can be like, well, he does it.
Yep.
Which is like the worst excuse ever to tell people a Korean does it. So I'm a 27-year-old white American who thinks he can do it too. So that should
I don't know what
work.
the white part had to do with it, but it added so much context that I really appreciated.
Yeah, well, I just mean there's like nothing in my blood or gene pool that says I will be able to do what he can do. Not a thing that ties me to his abilities, but I firmly believe I can do it too.
Yep.
And it's like, It's like,
Oh,
okay, so I'm gonna try this, and it's not gonna work, but he's gonna do it, carry, and everyone's gonna be like, yep, yep, that's how that works. It's great, and it's so perfect. But he's also like the perfect like adaptive force to what Fearless is, and they are like why Fearless is really fun. It's just one of those things where I started to notice at this tournament, like the drop off that happens when you get there. And I think originally I was annoyed by it slightly because I was like, oh man, this is a huge drop off in play. This isn't good. I don't know if I love this. But then you go, oh no, actually, like, I think this is fine. Like, there is a drop off, but that's a good thing because it's
yes.
showing how difficult the game of League is.
Yeah.
Like, how much you really have to practice and how many champions you need to be great at this game. And I will say, it does blow you away how good some of those like Chinese and Korean players are. When Knight is in game 5 and he picks Galio, just curb stomps the whole game. And the game before, I was like, oh, he's in his 4th champ in the bag on Tristana, and he's also cooking, like, he's making it kind of sweaty
Yep.
for a minute there. And I'm like, I don't know if we can win this. And he's just popping off. I'm like, bro, you should not have like 20 champs in the bag like Knight has. And he's not even the best mid in the tourney. Like, he's probably the 3rd best, and he's insane at the game.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
I saw I think Doubt mentioned that apparently Busio had an interview talking about the Calista and how they like to pick. Well, you still got to perform on stage. That'd be the thing I'd say to that. And you who asked, how would I feel if they ever did a Fearless Rules clash? Here's what people don't understand, and you can go check my OPGG on this. I've been, ever since Fearless was introduced, I play as many ranked sessions as I can by Fearless Rules,
Yep.
where I don't play the same champion ever again once I play it that day. And it is so much fucking fun. It is
Yeah.
so much fun to play solo queue like that. Is it great for your rank? No, obviously. You climb better
No.
whenever you play one individual champion. But holy shit, is it more fun?
Yep. No, it really is. I mean, it's the game when you actually experience all the champions that there are, it does make it a lot more fun to see everything. But it is also so hard and ranked.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not in a position where I can probably play as much as I'd like to do it, but I do try to play a bunch of different champs. I've never been someone who can just grind one champ
Oh,
and have fun.
neither can I.
It's just not in my DNA,
That's my
sadly.
reason for why I'm not timing. Entirely.
Yeah,
Nothing
that's
else.
what it is.
Nothing else. It is just that.
That's why we'll never make it.
That's why I'll
That's
never
totally
be the
what
next
it
Ven.
is. Yeah. Okay, Nelly.
Yep.
She's supposed to be going to bed, and she's just wide-eyed, staring down the computer. That's good.
Speaking of wide-eyed and staring them down, how are you feeling about T1 GenG? We got 10 minutes until the series kicks off.
I still feel good about GenG winning it. I don't know what it is. I just think GenG has slowly amassed every player that you can possibly get to beat T1 at this point. Like, you cannot keep acquiring players in the way they have to not win. And if they don't, then Faker really just, I mean, he already is the guy. I don't know. You can't go any higher.
Nope.
He's just that dude. So it is what it is. It'd be very funny for Doran too to whoop on him.
Look, I'm one of those people that you don't, unless my bias is here, okay? Like, unless, like, NA's playing against China, Korea, obviously, and I'm going to pick us to win. You don't bet against the trend, all right? You don't. And the trend to me says that GenG, no matter what their composition, cannot beat T1 at the international stage in a best of 5 series. I don't bet against that. You can call that plot armor. You can call that clutch. You can call that choking from GenG. You can call that chokey for Chovy. You can call it whatever you want. until the day that GenG actually beats T1 in an international best of 5. In the current iteration, before Lunar loses his fucking mind, in the current iteration of T1, the majority iteration, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. T1's taking him down. Last 2 MSI. Tell me when T1 played GenG last MSI. Last time I checked, they didn't play.
Did they play?
No.
I don't remember them playing.
No, they did not play.
Okay.
And I'm looking it up now just to quadruple check. GenG played Fnatic, Top Esports, BLG, went straight to the finals and rematched with BLG. There was no T1 versus GenG at MSI 2024. MSI 2023. Okay.
Sorry, my dog was eating some.
Okay. This one I will give him. I have misspoken on this one ever so slightly. That was the one win that they did get. GenG was able to beat T1 3-2 at 2022 or 2023 MSI. But, or no, I'm wrong. Sorry, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. T1 beat him 3-2.
Really?
T1 beat him 3-2, and then GenG lost 3-0 to BLG. So, no, they did not beat him there.
Wow.
So
I mean, T1 is their kryptonite, right?
Yeah.
At internationals, and GenG crushes them domestically.
You okay?
I had a burp in there.
Okay. I thought Ellie might have, I thought Ellie burped and more came out.
No.
Like,
no, she has to lay on my belly.
No.
Makes me burp.
But
Ain't gonna lie.
that
run from it.
That's the thing that I love when this conversation comes up. Is yes, GenG has whooped T1's ass domestically all the time. They have never overcome this hurdle. Now, am I saying this partially to try and jinx it? So GenG wins and T1 comes up for the lower bracket and then beats him in the final? Yes, I'm partially saying that. But I'd rather see T1 just win it straight up. And I know the number one rule I've been told by many T1 fans is that you doubt T1 no matter what. That ain't my kind of fandom. All right? That ain't me. Okay? Yeah, you ain't getting that to me. So I'm going to be confident until it is officially over and that final Nexus falls. And I cannot wait for all of the Arnold tweets if T1 win this. All of the Arnold tweets about GenG choking and the Chovy choking narrative. Dude, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be a bloodbath.
Now it's going to be GenG wins now. T1 loses to AL in lower bracket. And Flandre is the beast that carries AL to win it all.
I mean,
GenG will still lose in the end to me.
Losers bracket buff. So
it's a real thing. It's people in League don't believe in momentum, but I'm telling you, the momentum is real. I know you would think that they would just burn out, but when you start getting some swag, and you start feeling good about yourself, and you think you can really perform, it happens. Sometimes you hit that beautiful moment where you're just playing on cloud 9.
Especially when it's back-to-back best of 5s over and over again.
Yep.
Oh, which, by the way,
you hit a flow state. It's a real thing.
Oh, 100%. By the way, my other big takeaway from this international tournament, I never want to see best of 1s ever again. I really don't. Dude, we are so spoiled this tournament. It has been so nice never having to worry about bullshit best of 1s. The double best of 5 broadcast days have been so much fun. Oh, I know it's long hours for some, but I've enjoyed it heavily. It felt like a full day of football. That's what it's felt like.
It has. I agree with that. Also, doubt Spartan saying T1 never lost to China. You're showing your age, buddy. Some of us were here when the dark arts happened a long time ago.
To be fair, the
And some of
conversation
us
was
remember those
specifically
days.
about this iteration of T1. So,
Oh, it's just this one? My bad.
I mean, well, that's what I have to do to make sure that like the GenG T1 point remains.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. Continue, doubt Spartan. My bad. You're right.
Yeah. So,
I was gonna say, I've seen the wizardry that happens.
yeah. Also, MSI 2023, to Lunar's point, was T1 losing in the finals to BLG. Hence the Golden Road.
Oh, right.
Or
What?
JDG, sorry.
Was what?
Was 2023 or 2024? Yeah, no, 2022.
Yeah, when JEG lost to T1 and didn't finish.
Or was it
Yeah.
20? Yeah, it was 2023, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was the JDG Golden Road. They won both domestic, they won MSI, and then it was the JDG versus T1 semifinal matchup rather than finals because they would go on to 3-0 in the finals. Weibo.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what that one was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my history is right.
That wasn't the DRX one. Yeah, you're right. That was the one where they beat Weibo.
Yeah.
Because the Shy had that. That's what really catapulted Caedrel, kind of. Not that he wasn't a big deal, but the Shy having that random run while Caedrel like was a Shy truther
Yep.
was kind of hilarious.
Yeah, JDG beat T1 3-2 in that upper bracket final, and then T1 bowed out to BLG, and JDG beat BLG in that 2023 final of MSI. Which now this actually has me curious. 2023 was the first year they did the new MSI format, right? 2022 I think was still the old one with like all the best of ones, like the 20 billion. Yeah, 2022 was like the 20 billion best of ones. So 2023, the team that won from upper bracket went on to win the event. 2024 MSI, the team that went on to win the upper bracket final in GenG won everything. So it's the reverse of domestic for the LTA and the LEC. If you win your upper bracket matchup, you're probably going to win the tournament. So the winner of this series is likely going to win the entire thing.
Wow. Good to know.
To put those stakes officially out there. And of note, last year was a repeat matchup with winners finals and grand finals. The year prior was not. So we'll see what trend we're going with here. Maybe it rotates every other year. But it is 8 o'clock. The series is about to begin. I'm going to send everybody over to the main broadcast. If you have not already done so, be sure to subscribe on YouTube. Be sure to follow on Twitch. Paul, you got any final words before we watch this series?
I'm cheering for China again. I always cheer for China. It never works out, and it feels the right thing to do. So, go LPL.
I think everybody here knows exactly who I'm pulling for. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah.